Welcome back. MTG Joe here. Today we are going to be testing. I'm going to be playing in an upcoming RCQ Regional Championship Qualifier for the Standard format. It's actually going to be team trios. So I'm in a Standard seat. How it works is playing with two of my buddies. We form a team. We play against three other players. There's a Modern player, a Pioneer player, and a Standard player. I'll be on the Standard seat. Normally, I would jam mono red in these types of things, but my friend's borrowing all my mono red cards. He played Rakdos aggro in the last regional championship here. So he's got the most kind of versed with that deck. Didn't want to shake him up. So my goal is to learn Convoke today. And there's quite a few different kind of tweaked variations of Convoke that I want to kind of get a feel for, see what I like, what I don't like. There's a lot of flex spots when it comes. So we're going to start off with this list here, and then we'll kind of tweak. So I just looked at a bunch of MTGO lists, 5.0s, stuff like that, untapped data, seeing what looks good, what doesn't, and then some personal preference. So a lot of the decks recently are playing some number of Sheltered by Ghosts, whether 1, 2, up to 4 main. This helps against the mono red matchup, but I think it plays a little bit worse into some of the other decks. The card that I really like is Painter Studio. It's a Anthem effect on the Defaced Gallery side, but then from the Painter Studio side, gives us some card advantage, something that the deck can struggle with at times. So I like this version here because it's a 1-1 split of these and then 3 case of the Gateway Express. There's other versions that'll play 4-2 and then some numbers kind of in between. This list as well is playing 2 Torch to Towers main. It seems like quite a few of the lists now are playing a couple Torch in the main board. While not a creature and it kind of dilutes your Knight Errant Eos for future turns, it gives you removal that's not conditional on having creatures in play. Both of these need you to have creatures in play, so it makes it harder when you're on the draw to kill mono red's creatures. And then some of the lists are on the Percussionist. This one's on a 1 of Yodian, so we're going to try out the Yodian. This one's probably like the worst card in the deck, but it fills a couple of the voids being an artifact early, and then it's a creature out of your graveyard. The list could play anywhere between 2 to 4 Mockingbirds. I tried the list from the last Arena Championship that was on 4 Mockingbirds. While it's powerful in the late game when you can copy like Imidane's Recruiters to get that value again, they don't do much early. They don't kind of advance your board. It's just a 1-1 flyer, which is fine, but nothing great. So looking in the sideboard, the only switch I made from a recent 5.0 was so they were only playing 3 Protected Negotiators, and then they were playing 3 Destroy Evils, 1 Disdainful Stroke, and then they were playing 2 Split Ups. I found when I was kind of goldfishing how I would board in against mono red, I had one too many cards. So I cut a Split Up. I really like the counter spells. I was playing a bit of this on mobile, and I do like having like some numbers of counters, and Disdainful Stroke scales into the late game against Sunfalls or the bigger stuff. Full Sheltered by Ghosts against the aggressive decks, Torch Tower, and then I wanted Painter Studios. I wanted something that wasn't case of the Gateway Express that could provide an Anthem effect that didn't require me to commit more to the board, and I think the card advantage engines could be pretty reasonable there. Hey Matthew, so the Wandering Emperor. So I don't think it really solves like the issue. Like it gets around targeted removal, but you usually want to be attacking. I just found against the decks with heavy removal, I just wanted to play to the board. And normally I would play Urbrass Forge, but I found a lot of the white-based decks have enter, gain, life, what's it? The Authority of the Console. So it makes the Forge really bad. It basically just gains them a life every turn and you get no utility out of it. So that's kind of one of the lists we're looking at today. We're also going to be looking at fairly similar. So this was another list. This one's on just 2-2, 2 galleries, 2 shelters main, and then it's on 2 percussionists, 2 mockingbirds. This version here also is kind of got a split of Protect and Disdainful Stroke. Lithomantic Barrage is something we're going to want, just to give you some utility, and then Disdainful Stroke, Lawrence, those effects there. The thoughts of Destroy Evil over Exercise. So there's a number of ways with this deck you can play at instant speed. So if you do want to hold up counters versus not having counters, this lets you react to your opponent on their turn. So I can either choose to counter something or not, and then I could also kill it. so it has some utility there. The exercise, while strong in terms of the flexibility, it also is an exile effect, so it is better against the Enduring Curiosity, stuff like that. It doesn't allow me to do it at instant speed. So between like your Resolute Reinforcements, holding up mana to potentially draw a card or counter, I think I prefer that there. So there's some flex spots, like things like Soul Partition is interesting here. I do want to maybe find space for Lithomantic Barrage if we see a lot of the Terror decks or Eye decks. So there's kind of a couple different variations here. Hey JPV, so I have a couple different versions. So this is most likely the one that I showed in the video. So this was from the Arena Championship. It's just got a lot of 4-ofs. So 4 Mockingbirds, 2 Case of the Gateway Express, full Sheltered Main. I didn't love the Mockingbirds as in this number. I also didn't like not having another card advantage engine, something out of the side. The Rest in Peace in here, you have like the full Torch the Tower. Seems like a lot of lists from the last video. They've pivoted to having some number of torches in the main. So we're gonna try it out. Like I've played maybe 4 or 5 matches with this deck, but I want to see just some of these numbers and see how they kind of play out. The one thing I could see potentially happening is possibly just cutting like Yodian, playing another effect, and then saving a sideboard slot. Things like Graveyard Hate is stuff we want to keep an eye on as we jump into the games, where Rest in Peace can be fairly useful. But best way to learn is to kind of play the games. See, I've also barely played this month with just holidays and everything, so we are still platinum. But we'll learn as we go. How is the game audio relative to the me audio? Is it too loud? But thanks everyone for hanging out. If you haven't caught on, we are live today. That's something, Clarity, I want to test out, because there is a critical mass of creatures you do need to have. I do like the fact that you can get effects without Case or Sheltered by Ghosts. So this hand, pretty heavy on lands. We have the ability to ward in on one and then get these going. I think we try this out. Opponent is mulliganing. Didn't want to see another land there, so not having the Graveyard Hate or Lithomantic in this matchup is going to be pretty bad. They do have stuff like bounce effects, but I think this is fine. So we can see on Summon or into the Flood Maw, this is the Terror deck. So I should be able to clonk them for a reasonable amount of damage here. And then that's a really nice one for next turn. Don't want Torch in this matchup. So we have to watch out for like Bushwhack, 1, 2, 3. Spyglass is really good here. So don't want any more lands. So this is what I like about the face gallery. If this was the case, we wouldn't necessarily want to play out the case, but this lets me play it proactively. Oh, they whiffed there, but should be able to get some terrors out. So 1, 2, 3. Just go flying and then kind of smacking. Yeah, Sirens, they were sold out everywhere by me. Okay, so Disdainful Stroke seems reasonable here. Protect the Negotiators. I'm going to add in a bunch of cards and then we'll take out what doesn't seem great. The Torch the Towers seem bad. Sheltered by Ghost. I can't see us really sheltering them, and their removal's all 1 mana, so it's not that great there. Similar with Case. I don't think Case is that good here, just because it requires us to commit a lot of mana to the board. So these can deal with like their bigger things. I think Yodian is probably one of the worst cards, and I could probably see cutting a Mockingbird. So we kind of play like a tempo. Now Mockingbird does have flying, which has the advantage of going over the top of our opponent, which I do like. In this case here, we're still at 26 creatures, which should be okay. The question is, what is that last cut? So Split Up can do a reasonable job against their big creatures, but they're probably not attacking, so maybe not Split Up in this matchup. Lithomantic Barrage is something I would really want here. Same with Rest in Peace, but we don't have access. But I think if we could get rid of like their stuff, Painter Studio's reasonable. We can go a little bit wide here. They're usually doing targeted removal. Only other thing, I maybe want another Painters here. I do like having the flash threats. How many lines do we play? 22. Do I cut a land? I think we try like this. I could see like 1 Painters being good. Let's do that. Their stuff maybe only costs 1, so it's not as good there. How's everyone doing today, though? Thank you for hanging out. This deck's kind of hard to sideboard with because you have such like a critical mass. So this hand's a bit of a trap. We have this on 1, but these without kind of supplementary stuff isn't as good. This hand's much better. Let's put back Battlefield Forge. An interesting one. I'm gonna lead on this because if they want to bounce, I get value. They could get Storm Chasers. Okay, so now that they have Beanstalk, it's much better for them. How about no more lands? Let's see, sleight of hand. Two here. That's actually pretty nice. Just in case they bounce my Warden. See, I disagree with that. I think it seems worse than doing that because you end up... Like, the studio always kind of provides some value. I think we keep a Destroy Evil. Worst case, it hits the Up the Beanstalk. Because like the case, you lose the first mode and you need to attack with 3 to turn it on. Where the Painter Studio, if you just have like 1 or 2 threats, can still do something. And then late game, if you flood, it's a mana sink. So, could see Bushwhack here. So that's Ward 2. think we have to do this. Just push through some damage. Like the games where they could have a bushwhack here. They could have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting they brought Pick Your Poison in against me. A tap line's terrible there. We just gotta push here. So they can take 2 out of the way, but ideally we Immodanes get the token. They get another 1/1 here, so they could Storm Chasers back. This town ain't big enough. It's kind of extra ping damage with the Anthem versus card advantage. It's something we could definitely try out in these games to see if we like one more over the other. I think this is just poke in here. We've drawn way too many lions this game. We have a bounce. I probably lost this one. They've hit all 4 of their Storm Chasers, and I've hit 7 lions. At this point, it's very likely that they just kind of outvalue us. So that probably signifies to me they have Eddy Mark. So we'll see what they do here. They would have to proactively Eddy Mark. They have double Eddy Mark. They beat us here, but I can't really do much. They hit the Eddy Mark. Yeah, but the tap thing, just drawing in like the wrong order, kind of hurts. I think it's still fine. Because this will provide some card advantage. It's not the best if they bounce it. I could bring another 1-drop here. I think the counters are fine. Destroy Evil's fine. I mean, hopefully just don't draw 7 lines. 7 off 22. Maybe. I gotta actually look at how many lines on average the list play. Nope. This is frustrating. Now we're just... Yeah, I think I do want Litho. Maybe a Litho over a Torch. buy glass, but we don't have the mana. So I do want a red mana here. So I did this because if they try to bushwhack, it won't die. Because they could have fought with the bushwhack there, which I don't love. So we'll do this. I mean, worst case, it gives me something to do here. Vortex is fine. I could just start throwing in a whole bunch of damage. We get a red, I just like chain Immodanes. It's a little bit awkward hand, having a maul and then not having the right line. They're at 3 in the yard. Again, we have to be mindful that they can have like a bounce effect. It protects, actually not bad. Two Ronas. I think I gotta counter this, right? So I'm never gonna block with this, so I think we do this. Because if they bounce, then they'd have to bounce the recruiter there. We're just not seeing lands. They can replay that. Hey, that's good, that's good, that's good! So just do this. Now we don't want lands. I can flash either of these in. Okay, all is good. None of these actually really do much. They get a land, so they can get back. This town ain't big enough, but they don't have the requisite amount of mana to cast it. They can do bushwhack here, but that's still not enough. They can do Rona's Vortex. Okay, they opt for this town ain't big enough. So we're one off. I think we just jam here. Yeah. We just go recruiter, jam. Woo. Hey, Rodrigo. So not 100% sure. I am learning this deck because we're playing in the RCQ. It's a teams trio, and we're pooling together cards. And basically, none of us have the white lands, like the white verges, and we just don't want to spend like $50. We already had to buy Screaming Nemesis, so we dropped like $150 there. So we really just don't want to commit further. So Jeskai Convoke. I do think somewhere in this list we want... So we have like Protect, that's fine. Could be instead of like Sheltered, we play... Because I already have access to 3 torches. We have the Destroy Evils. We have the extra Painter's Studio. In conjunction with this, I do want a Lithomantic Barrage. Since this is good against the Dimir decks as well, it kills pretty much all their stuff. I think we just get rid of the other torch. Like, we have a lot against red. It might be just 2 paint. Let's do that. Kind of play it like this. I could run both Painters main and just have all the Sheltered in the sides. So you... Because like one... I feel like Painters would probably come up more. So like, give mono red, we kind of punted a little bit more in game 1, but then have access to basically 7 pieces of kind of removal that we can add in. 2, 3, probably get these out, and then trim like 1 more along the edge, maybe like a Gleeful kind of mix into there. But we're on the board. We are up there. And let's play another one, see how it goes. Yeah, that's partially why I feel like Dimir and Domain is potentially will be popular in my area. There's always a few of us mono red gamers, but it's going to be tricky because we have to kind of make a meta call across 3 formats. It's Pioneer, Modern, and Standard. So I'll be playing this, some variation of Jeskai. Our Pioneer player is going to be on Rakdos Aggro, and then our Modern player is going to be on Dimir, Oculus Frog, Murktide, whatever you want to call it. Folks, if you are tuning in for the first time, I'm MTG Joe. Normally we do metagame breakdowns here, but I need to learn this deck so I don't let my team down. If you do enjoy knowing kind of what the best decks are in each format and some gameplay content every now and then, make sure to hit that sub button on YouTube. We are aiming to hit 16,000 subs by the end of the month. Beautiful, Rodrigo, thank you. This hand's really nice. Mirror potentially. So, nice start for them as well. Play draw might come down to it, so they keep it on top. So gotta be mindful here. None of these are white, so we wouldn't have been able to convoke. I think single warden spyglass is probably better. So they're on sheltered main, so they probably beat us this one. It's not gonna get enough to case them. And they're gonna win this race. Offense, defense race. I might want to... just do this. We're not going to be able to go wide enough here. Let's take 5 more. If they have an overrun, I die. But I need to find... 5, yeah. I need to find case. Because the problem is they can outscale me. If they have the overrun, yeah, they got me. So, case kind of broke the mirror there. Split up seems good. Barrage could be reasonable. Maybe torches. The Painter Studio seems worse in this matchup. Probably want a couple sheltered. So Yodian sucks. Like one there. So my Mockingbird could copy theirs, but I think Mockingbird's the worst here. We had a pretty good start. They had a nice start as well. Obviously, if they don't have a combination of Vigilance, Lifelink, that progressively got bigger. So this is where we have to see how we want to approach it. I think all things considered, it might be best. Maybe we do a 2-2-2 split with case. Might be better. The shelter would always hit there. Split up's nice there because you just name like tapped or untapped depending on where you're playing. I mean, it's reasonable. Case can be okay depending what they play. Obviously, it's like a turn 3. No double blue with triple spyglass is a little rough. Let me know in the chat if I'm approaching this matchup wrong. We have Spyglass of our own. We have Resolute that could come down. I do want to hit a land. Could be reasonable. I think I want to hit a land though. We can rerun the same play. If we draw a third land, I can case something and then attack in. I might want to get my third attacker present, just so that way I have case going. Unless they start getting a warden of their own. Much slower hands for both of us this game. Do you want the land? We've now binned a couple cards. We're 11 deep. No third land. Every land in our deck will come into play untapped, which is great. So the Gleeful here. Land to be really good here. I could sweep their board. Or let's just never get a land. That could be cool. That could be cool. Okay, this is actually, like, hilarious at this point. 13 cards, can't find the land. Like, I don't... If we hit the line, we're still probably in it, but if we don't, we're in a little bit of a rough one. It's part of the awkwardness of case. I mean, if they just commit a lot to the board... Take the 4. This is a bit frustrating. Like, this is gonna go hard, depending what they do. Thank you. It's actually an interesting line. I go... one more turn. It's 5, 6. Yeah, I think I have to do it. They didn't tap down. They do get a card off Percussionist. It's just Torch the Tower. Yeah. Probably dead here. We missed too many turns. We hit another land, I can Resolute with Case, that might help, but we're in a pretty rough spot. Ace might not be the best in this matchup. Might be better just... Did we bring in all the torches? We left one in this side. Torch might be better served in this matchup. So they can 1, 2, 3... Need a land. Just can't get anything this game. That was such a weird game. So Case might not be it in that matchup. Oh no, wrong one. Do Case. A Sheltered Main. 2 Painters, which I like. You have that. Sideboard. We could go up a second Split Up, which seems pretty reasonable in that matchup. Could also go another Barrage. I think I like that most. We're kind of tweaking along the edges. That game becomes a little bit more of a game if we're actually able to see one of the effects. If they tap, we blow them out a little bit more. They played well against that kind of potential of split up. We went about 15 cards deep, but only saw 2 lines. I didn't like the sideboard from it, and I didn't like the 4 Mockingbirds. I found it was... My god. We're gonna keep this. Hope for the best. Alright. Playing against Mono Red with a Pain Land. Mockingbird doesn't do anything early. It plays out when you're already kind of established. Okay. I would like FOMO. I'm gonna quad block FOMO if they offer. Warden's not bad, but... I think we're just gonna try to race them. I'm worried about Boros Charm on that block. Land, instant sorcery. Knight Errant's pretty big here, but I think we're just running it back. Play out Resolute here. This is a little sketch. Double Pain Lines destroyed us this game. Because I'm forced to do this, and we're dead to Bolt Wave or anything. Show me the burn. Yep. Any not Pain Land, we likely win that. Sheltered seem good. Torch seem good. Case seem bad. Actually, Case is probably better than Painter Studio here. We gotta be somewhat mindful because they have a lot of burns, so they can kind of get back their thing. Yodian's bad. Mockingbirds are bad. That one's just a little awkward. Looks like today we're just not getting playable hands. think it's like this. Could also keep Torch over one of these, but I think I gotta try to beat him this way. Alright, well, we're gonna do the thing now. I think the map's probably better than the card draw. Do both of these. Here, if they can potentially trade up. The FOMO's weird in their deck. It's not something you usually see in, like, these Boros piles. I mean, this absolutely blows them out, but I want to bait them. I want to basically get them to commit. Don't think I want this. Throw on like 5 blockers. Could be Monstrous Rage. This will get them, like, force cards out of their hand. I'm just gonna do this proactively for the life gain. Alright. Got him, got him, got him, got him. Case, torches, so they're on a little bit more dense of a creature pile. The split up is interesting, but probably too slow. Destroy Evil is not consistent. We haven't been able to keep like a single opener. All white card, like, come on. And they're all pain lines, because of course, why not? This is so frustrating that we haven't been able to like keep any reasonable hand. Do that. We just take some damage here. It's not great, but not. Should have done it the other way, because now could have saved the damage there. Just quad block. They have rage, they have rage. This is frustrating when you just don't even get like a chance to play. Okay. Something. It's not the best target. It's very easy for them to kill this. Burst Lightning does it, any of those effects, but we do this. I maybe should have done this first. Because if we hit like Warden, then maybe I want to. Putting a counter on this can be good. Knight Errant. I think I need to find removal. Because I'm not necessarily racing them. Go up to 8. They get double strike. Okay, this is close. This Nemesis is gonna have to do some blocking. Draw a card. We hit another Sheltered. Could be good. They just have 2 burn spells. Fuck off. So frustrating. I was on a vault of 4. So we get like 1 more instance. I think Percussionist instead. try something like this. Frees me up a bit in the side. So we have all the torches, we have the destroy evils, disdainful, we have split up, we have the third sheltered, do rest in. Do like a rest in peace and maybe soul partition. Over something like Get Lost. We're like a turn away there from winning. Is that a keepable hand? So we go Spyglass into Reinforcements, Spyglass, Knight Errant into Painter Studio. How's everybody doing today? This could be Delirium or Gruul Aggro. Do that, do that. I think we're just gonna Resolute here. One, two, three, four, five. I'm gonna keep up the map because I could put a map on Knight Errant. Unfortunately, we didn't get. Just gonna do these two. I mean, we could set up a Gleeful line with the two Novice. And then just Painter Studio. Sounds good. So they get Valiant trigger here. They did play a land for turn, and then Nemesis going away is nice. This could be Monstrous Rage. I'm cool to just trade off here, because we have just a lot of damage coming through. Okay, so getting game one there is pretty big. Let's do our ghosts. Let's do our soul partition. Torches. Could see split up being okay here, potentially. Destroy Evil's interesting. This version of the deck can get a bit bigger than our other versions. But Painter Studio should come out. I think the Mockingbird. Percussionist. And probably Case. Maybe not split up. Mind you, they do have the mice, but the mice, they keep some back. So I think the targeted removal is going to be better than kind of going with something like that. Interesting that, like, thus far we've played against quite a bit of, like, aggro. Reasonable. Probably one line too many, but no removal could be a bit of a problem. JK. We'll kind of see how they approach this. We'll take a chump there. If they attack with Manifold, I will double block it. They have a removal spell that forces it out now. Too many lines. Probably not on Knight Errant yet. Do have to be mindful. Obviously, Monstrous Rage is bad. Nemesis is bad. They could pump here, so have to be somewhat cautious. They had the torch. No blocks here. Defense! Slower start there. We drew a lot of lines. Yeah, I'm dead anyways. Last card, Monstrous Rage. Always is. Always is. I think we're just running it back. Again, like, if you're getting a little unlucky there, it's been very awkward with lines. We're either getting so many, not enough. Like, this hand would have been great had we had a white source. This hand's good. I think it is... Put you back. Pain line's a bit of a problem, but it's the life we live. They could have protection here. I do like getting this down. Gives me more bodies. We hit a land, it's good. Try to bait them into a spell, maybe. So they do have green mana this game, so we have to be mindful of that. I mean, they're all pain lines, which hurts, but I'm gonna lead with Torch so I can potentially draw a card. That gets it to 3. I think we have to do this. Might have been right to push that out. A torch. I sheltered. Think I have to do this? It's not the best target, but my lands aren't doing much for me. Try to hit another sheltered here. It's an interesting line if they want to try to race. Not bad. We hit a land, it's fine. We were a little aggressive with our removal. We maybe should have held it and kind of played a game with them, but... It's a good draw. It's a good draw, because this way if they... I think they have removal. Oh, they just seek the beast. That's fine. I have the mana to pay for it. I can go more onto Novice. We may want to split our threats here. If they attack in, I'll triple block. A torch is nice, but I don't have a token. Oh, I do have a token. Pay the ward here. Case is probably fine. That gets exiled. That gains me 4. They can easily remove any of these, but I don't really have a choice. Case might have been wrong to keep because it doesn't do much. To do this, they would have to trade, they get a Heartfire back. Which probably is fine, because this is going to have a limited window. Obviously, if they have Monstrous Rage, it blows me out, but if they did... I think I have to do that. They do have enough for Mouse plus Haste It. Stop drawing Nemesis. This is part of the reason like the Sheltered by Ghost is not like be all end all in this matchup. And this Talent's just gonna keep doing me in. We've already used our Soul Partitions. We have 2 more Sheltered. 2 more Torch. Could poke in here. They could shut me off life gain. Takes them off that. Again, just like little things like our lines being painful hurt us here. They're getting to the point where they double counters. And it's a freaking tap line. We need a better plan against this. This ain't working. This ain't working. Have that. We're just not like... So they're all on 22 lands. This one's a split with some percussionists. The problem is like you have a bunch of tap lines. I'm really not liking Case. Like, what can we play for card advantage? We might have to play Bunnicorn. So let's try this. One sec. Sheltered main. Painter's side. Unicorn main. Split up back in there, and then another soul partition. Yeah, so part of the problem, I'm lending my friend all my mono red cards, so we just don't have overlapping cards. I'd be playing like Gruul, like opponent's deck if it was the last game, if it wasn't for that. So we have to kind of go from there. Oh, and historic. Too many cards on the side. Let's try this. We've been getting pretty like... So I don't know if it's a symptom of just the inconsistency of the deck, but we've also been getting pretty unlucky just in terms of what we've been hitting. Bunicorn might be a little bit better. I'm also wondering if we can just go straight red-white, maybe. You get a little worse in terms of... Thank you, playable hand. If they have cut down, I want to lead on this. Because if they have an aggressive start, then I can ward in, get the counter, and torch their thing. So we have a couple options here. I'll take a land. Nice start here. So Dimir, this could be demons, this could be just mid-range. So we'll kind of get a feel for how that matchup is. I think Warden Spyglass. Warden could also be reasonable. But I think Spyglass lets us kind of split up a bit. I think we're okay trading here. It's a pretty good tempo play for them. Explore here. Should have maybe done that first. So we want to be mindful of Kaido here. So it can block one. Could also be we just don't care about Kaido. Like, it could stun my Knight Errant, but I could just attack it down. That does take all their mana for the turn. So it's probably okay. Lines to kind of consider there. Most likely. My area is like very spiky. So whatever the best decks are, people will typically play those. With Resolute, I think we're just doing this. Oh, I appreciate it. Try to put those out to help folks. Also helps me kind of keep up. I'm not able to play as much as I once did. So it provides me with a little bit of playthrough kind of doing this here. Past that point. The Faebloom trick again. Just in case they have Liliana, I don't need this line for anything, so it gives me some options there. Okay. Getting Dimir there is good. So this matchup, I do want Litho Barrage. Protect the Negotiator is interesting, but probably not good enough. I do want the Faced. Question is, do I want Soul Partition? Yeah, I gotta test this, and honestly, sometimes just talking through the lines. I don't care about my record so much as just seeing, like, is this something I want to play? Bunnicorn could be okay. The Sheltered by Ghosts seem bad in this matchup. Seems like I'm gonna be 2-for-1ing myself. They don't play proactively. Think they could have a Sweeper Post board. So out of my options to cut, I do like the cheap removal. I think we're going to trim on a Gleeful here. And maybe a Mockingbird. Mockingbird could copy their stuff, which is also nice. Resolute's multiple bodies. Maybe just a Resolute. I do like the Painters as well. This game will tend to go a little bit longer, which could be useful. That's tricky. Like, do I want the removal more than I want the demolition? We saw that game, like, getting the demolition late. You can't target Kaido. So you could remove it before it comes into play. But once Kaido's in play, it has hexproof during your opponent's turn. So it doesn't do necessarily what we want it to there. Maybe just trim an Imidanes. Their stuff's pretty cheap. Like, the only thing I'd want to soul partition is Curiosity, but they replay it. You could do Shieldred. I could see a case for Destroy Evil. Hey, Joao. How's it going? This hand's a nope. This hand is pretty solid. So we have kind of the combo, if you would. They have cut down here. We could see that come down. I'm gonna do this, it's more mana efficient. It also doesn't play into a counter. So here I'm gonna just tap everything. In case I get another 1-drop. Yikes. Yikes. I don't want to copy any of this. I'll take the trade if they offer. Suggests to me that they don't necessarily just have removal. Annoying. I have a flying preacher now. I can attack in here. We get Knight Errant 2. I really like Gruul aggro. Dimir, like the opponent's deck, the Dimir deck's very strong. I like the Gruul aggro decks. I'm lending the cards to my friends, so. The Fabloom Trick is pretty good tempo against us. Gets rid of a big blocker. Think we do this. This provides more utility, I think. So Lithomantic Barrage, if they block with Shieldred, I can ping them for 1. Now, since they didn't, I could go Bunnicorn. They could Kaido me, they could Curiosity me. They kind of got to keep back Shelly. It's kind of risky because they can deal a big chunk of damage to me. If not, 6-8. I'm not going to get this, so I'll just keep the blockers. Next turn, I just Immodanes, get rid of a... It's like Bunnicorn. If I had all the cards in paper, I'd be playing opponent's deck. I just don't want to spend that much on Standard for the amount I play. I have the red cards, so I usually play them in IO or like some of those other formats. So opponent knows face up we have Immodanes Recruiter. That's known information that they can play through. One more gives me flying. Question is, what am I willing to tap down, if anything? Hit me for 4. Kaido, tap something down. I think I just gotta do this. Maybe should have just forced Immodanes there. Instead of doing the tapping, just go like super wide. Because I'm not going to be able to do Gleeful in that. Land. So here I could do this, get 3 bodies, make this bigger. They could have the counter spell, which if they do, they do. Can't really do much about that. I think it's just Imidane's force. Need to make sure I'm not dead on the crackback. This will give me 4 life. Kept the flyer back so it can... Like, it's not worth me trading my 2-1. Far enough ahead, we should be okay. Okay, so they jump there. We're pretty soft to Gix command here, but I don't think there's any way for me to play around that at this point. So I don't think they kill me next turn. Yeah. I think we do that. They have Gix command. They have it. 6. I can't. I gotta basically play as though they don't have Gix command. Ah! No more Gix command. No more Gix command. Yeah, I think I should have attacked with everything. Yeah. Barrages might be better served as partitions. Yeah, we maybe attack all there. The barrages seem pretty bad. Could destroy evil. But maybe I destroy evil here. This partition could protect me. It was probably attack all at that point. I was in a position where I was gonna... They might have survived. I forgot I was getting a blocker back. And I think I ended up tapping anyways, so probably lesson learned there, was a little bit too cautious. Had to assume they probably had targeted removal and we were never beating Gix command. Sounds pretty bad. Now, if they just go Preacher here, like, not nearly enough pressure. You're doing well. Something here. How about another land? And another one. This is frustrating. Because the problem is, like, this doesn't even let me use the Recruiter's ability. Second Preacher. Warden's okay here. We get swept up anyways, so I would rather just kind of play this out. Make the tokens and then tap them. Problem is our creature quality is so much worse than the opponent's. And then they're making life linkers every turn. I punted this one. They shouldn't have counters in at this point, but you never know. I think just keeping back blockers here is more important. This could be Fabloom trick. If so, it's pretty bad. I lost this. I'm not gonna beat them now. Ugh. That one's so frustrating. So frustrating. I had that and I punted it away. This is why... Yeah. This is why I never play this deck. It's too... like... half your hands don't do anything. Two turns to draw a land. Mirror. Oh my god. For those who've been here the whole stream, I might have been getting like unlucky, like what's happening? May not attack here. If they have torch, they have torch. I have to play as though they don't. Yeah, variance is gonna do it to you sometimes. It is like... it's definitely frustrating. So I have Bunnicorn. Could exile it, but it doesn't do much if they do that. I can't Knight Errant right now, so Bunnicorn's probably the best line, because next turn I Sheltered with Ghost It. I might take Warden off the battlefield. Yeah, especially since I drew second Sheltered. So this one I could get the Percussionist off. They can tap. Probably still right like that. Okay, so they don't. So they need land plus sheltered here. Tap line's a good start. Option here, I can take them off one, I can have the 2 blockers back. Kind of like the 2 blocker line. Because then I can shelter their shelter potentially. This line plays worse. If I just make something big here. Makes their blocks worse. Might have been right just to resolute there. Try to ambush them. They can start getting some blockers in the way. They have enough to block there, potentially. Actually, they don't, which is nice. I should have maybe tried to ambush Viper them there. Bunny's been pretty good. It gives me something bigger for the lifelink, which we didn't have. We don't have a way to give trample. Six, 8. Two, so it's 4, 8, so they'd have enough there with 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know we're gonna get resolute, which is good. This just makes it bigger. So it's 13. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright. Got him. 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 Split up. Torch the tower. Maybe barrage? Do we want barrage? Probably not good enough. The split up can be reasonable. Soul partition is another way we can hit their things. I think Mockingbird is bad, potentially. One more cut, one more cut. I didn't mind Bunnicorn there. It's like the biggest thing we have. It could be Gleeful. Could be trimming on a Imidanes. Might be Imidanes. We need Warden to control our split up. Just run it like that. Wonder if we can do a red-white version with Axe. Still play the Convoke stuff. Have mana base that isn't as bad. We can play Steel Seraph. Alright. Reasonable. It's good. I don't take the damage. So we go Spyglass. We'll demo there. They can have... I think we just wait here. No point of gleefuling right now. They go Recruiter. Problem is we don't have any payoff. Oh my god, why did tap my red mana? No! Oh my god. That's so annoying. I mean, this plays better if they have Imidane. Just poke for one here. What do they have? Honestly, the way this game is going, I might want the clue. Clue gives me like a little bit more value. This could be split up anyways, so... Which we played a little into, but I think it's fine. Garden's a nice one. I think we want something better than that. So your next turn, so counter 3 is something we need to be mindful of. So they can counter this. Ah, they had the Resolute as well. That last card's Imidane Recruiter. We're in a bad spot. Really interesting that they chose to bring those in. They have something. They have another counter spell? And I can go offense, defense, or I can try to find one more threat. Ah. Hey David, how's it going? Maybe should have baited with Knight Errant there. I'm having very odd that they choose to bring those in. Some good top decks. They hit 2, we didn't. Start getting out of hand now. One, two, three. This gets vigilance. Tack in. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. Oh my god. Can we, like, draw more than one? That's crazy. We just got, like, no creatures. I need something better than Bunny at this point. I need either like a torch. How's everybody in chat doing tonight? Today, wherever you are. This can start getting big. That's very big. We are dead. Just didn't really draw anything. I think we're just running it back. Mistake there was, like, them having counters seems very odd in this matchup. Maybe it was we lead with Knight Errant just because the life link would have been huge. That could have been right. They're pain lands, but they're good. I think we lead on Spyglass here. We have access to Torch if needed. Spyglass lets me get in a point of damage here. So I'm gonna wait here because they're kind of inclined to play stuff out. Hey, some nice ones. I think we just do double here. Lets me start putting pressure on them. And then I could set up my board with the tap down stuff that I could sweep them. Do have to be cautious because they could have the counter spell which they've shown. Trying to hit lands. They want to trade their board, I'm fine with this. So I can clue here. Clue there, maybe. Gives me a reasonable blocker. That's a good one. So the question here, we can do tapped or untapped. Neither of these are good options for our opponent. Hey, Vanishing Golem, how's it going? So like it's, if they have split up, they leave us with a 4-4 and they sweep their board, or they just clean out a 4-4. Next turn, I get to do the combo. I think sheltered's fine. Could also just like save this as a follow-up. Because they might have a counter spell here. There's no stop there. Might have been right to keep one back because we had sheltered, but I think it's fine. Could have been as well, we made this have vigilance. Let's see. Don't have it. Okay. They didn't have it. I'm gonna run to the washroom really quick, folks. And we'll be right back. I'll leave the deck on screen. For folks, I'll be right back. Alright. I do want to see something, though. So I can do... No Gleeful, none of you. Sanguine, Evangelist. No. Steel Seraph. Which should come here. Leyline Axe. What creatures can we play? There's Pixie, but Pixie doesn't do a huge amount. This eats away at the graveyard, but is a 2/1. There's Dust Animist, which isn't too bad. 2/3 lifelinker, we could plot it early. Late game, it just comes down big. Doorkeeper Thralls, not good in our deck. There's Charming Prince, which we could blink like that, but not great. Sideboard Knight of Grace. I mean, first strike lifelink could be reasonable. There's the Squire, which can get pretty reasonable. But it's a bad, like, late draw. Hear about soldiers. What do we have in red? It's not a Swiss Spear deck. We don't want the mouse package. I'm gonna scrap all the blue lines. Stuff like Cunning Coyote. FOMO can help smooth out our draws. We don't really have Valiant things. Inti's interesting. Have 2 FOMOs though, so I can't play those in paper, so that's not really something we want to try. Charming Scoundrel can make multiple effects. That could be reasonable. Plays into like the artifact theme. Just 20 lines. Just so I can see. We're just seeing if I can do like Boros Leyline Axe Convoke. So 2 more cards. We have Torchmane. We have a bunch of lifelink things. Creatures is this? 28 creatures, so enough for Knight Errant. You still have cheap stuff to play off it. The Bunnycorn could get big. We have ways to give it trample. Imidanes might not actually be where we want to be in this deck anymore because we're not going like super wide. Arabella's not that good. Pretty soft. Dice to cut down, dice to cut down. Instant and sorcery spells have a lifelink. Could just play. This can be a mana sink for us, which isn't too bad. Pixie, there's not really stuff we want to pick up necessarily. Like we could pick up these, but it's not great. Could do like the mice. Yodian could come back. There's also just doing like some percussionists. Percussionist might not be bad, provides us some more card advantage. Any suggestions, chat? It's like Peacekeeper, but that doesn't do much. Enduring's interesting. Enduring, we might not need the Knight Errant. The stuff with Vigilance would have a benefit. On the side. $22 lands. So we have Sheltered. I have Torched the Towers. Evangelist. I probably want a 1-drop though. Squee doesn't do much in the format. There's Mabel. There's not really mice here to take advantage of. Human, human, human. I think we're just doing 1-drops. Flying lifelink could be okay. Just like an evasive. There's flying vigilance. The vigilance is interesting because we can attack and then get it back. There's Yodian, which gives us some utility out of the graveyard if we want to bin it to Charming. And then there's Percussionist. There is Hired Claw. Just pump in some damage. Ellen doesn't do too much. Three of those. We draw cards off this. We have Torch and that. I could go Helix in the main over it. Maybe Torches in the side. Oh. And just like Helix. Let's equip 3. I could just do Burst Lightning. So Helix obviously gains you the life, but Burst Lightning can be a play on 1. This gives me multiple effects. Probably get away with... We have 12 1-drops. We have the Bunnicorns that get bigger. This doesn't draw off this, but all these will draw off this, which is nice. We have a bunch of ways of making like tokens and stuff, which I like. You can tap your axe, which works. Just play a couple of forges, main. Yes, this is Boros aggro. And then in terms of mana base, I want 2 of the creature lands, Biovac. That's my split. 2010. Probably something like that. Can probably get away with like a fountain port in here. Maybe 2. Because like colorless. We have double white, less red, so maybe like that. White 2. Sorry folks, just figuring out the Convoke deck. I need a break from it. See how this plays out. Barrages, split up, torch the tower. Probably 3. Soul Partition, Lauren. I do want another Destroy Evil. Could do Pyroclasm. Kills some of our stuff, not all of it. Do like one of those with the split up. I could do 2 rest in peace, or let's do a rest in peace. Play another forge. So big things, torch for small things, lithomantic, soul partition for red. We have pyroclasm, and that we may want just like a scorching dragonfire. Obliterating bolt could be good. Elspeth smite could be good. It might just be another torch. It exiles. Really just the nemesis that we need it for. Could play Get Lost. I don't love giving people tokens though. I do like the exile. Let's just play another. Scorching. So like this hits everything out of red, it exiles. Out of Dimir though, it doesn't hit the 4 drops. Against Glissa, it works. We haven't seen much Dimir or Golgari. Think. Let's try that. This gives us like a bunch of removal. This is probably the weakest card in the deck, but we'll give it a shot. Alright. Boros aggro. What do you think, chat? We'll give this one a go, see how it feels. If it's trash, we'll go back to some Jeskai. I just need a break from it. I mean, there's at least 2 games I made a mistake with Jeskai. We probably should have won the Dimir matchup, so realistically that's 3-0. I played too cautious, so that's part of the learning of like what I want to try to get through. Keep. All right, domain. So Zur Overlords, first time we're running into this deck. So they could have Lockdown here, they could have Get Lost. Saving this, because if we're Hellbent, we could just draw a card. Wizard. Smack him for a bunch here. Probably don't need the Leyline Axe. All right. What the hell are we playing against? Domain with Tashana's main virtues. Lauren's probably good. I'm gonna play Forge. Destroy Evil is likely good. Probably trim on some axes. We don't ever want to draw more than one. Actually, Sheltered seems terrible in this matchup, so play the Axe. Maybe a Soul Partition. Like, do we ever beat Atraxa? Probably not. Interesting, the Tashana the card drop. They could have Tashana the equipped cost, which may have been correct in retrospect. Probably fine. No axe this game, but I think we're okay. Love beans if they play it. See what they do here. I have access to Lauren if they just go. It's just Sultai. So going Curiosity here, it could give me a card draw off the Scoundrel. So they brought in Anoint, obviously worse. Lets them use their mana for the turn. Could be getting Sunfalled after this turn. They Sunfall, I think it's okay. We haven't been able to put enough pressure. I can just attack in with the line for the turn if needed. See what they have here. Holding this up. I may want it for Atraxa though, because it's my only answer. Should have given this vigilance. Okay, so not too bad. We've dealt with a few pieces of removal. If they go Atraxa here, I could destroy Evil It and then pop in for some damage. Scoundrels are doing okay, like for what they're intending to do. We just continue here. I have enough to do destroy evil plus that. If we hit a land, I can loot it away. I also have access to Lauren to start drawing cards. Seeing 3 pieces of removal. I messed that up. I needed to hit that. So we'll just do this, put the counter here in case they have Sunfall. If they have another Zur, we're in a bit of trouble, but last card in hand. This is the more like Abzan variant. I don't think I give him a card draw. Card draw just gives him access to like one more spell. Alright, opponent, what you got? We give everything flying. We continue doing this here. All right. Boros Gaming. Boros Gaming. That worked out pretty good. felt a little bit more consistent. Just the mana base just being not all pain lines helps. We'll go Leyline Axe. Alice, thank you. How's it going? So lead with this, play out Hired Claw, play out Warden next turn, play the tap land, and then have option to steal Seraph. Okay, got Demir. You have the option here to attack in or not. Put a counter. Sets up our draw a little bit better. It hit Curiosity. Is annoying. Also won't be able to hit Kaido next turn. They might be low on lands, because I feel like if you have the lands, you keep Curiosity. Okay, so we do have Scoundrel here. The decision is, do I want to... What I can do... is this. Because then next turn I can steal Seraph. I have access to that. See if they Kaido here. It's a little risky for them to Kaido. This is an interesting line. Don't necessarily want to... They could have Flood Pit Drowner. I'm gonna try to find Forge. So they do have to play somewhat face up if they want to draw a card. You have the ability to Leyline Axe. Drawing all lands kind of sucks. We may want the Torches main. A couple copies, maybe play Forge side. That's pretty good. Bunny's probably fine. So I can do this to draw, but I don't necessarily want to draw. I think we do this. Forcing them into that plays pretty well because they don't get access. Just kind of gumming up the board for them. Flying is relevant because of the Death Touch. They don't get to animate this. This interaction's nice, just being able to get like multiple permanents out. Okay, so they're gonna just try to draw a bunch of cards next turn. They may be dead. Weird they wouldn't do that and just not take the damage. They decided to take 4 damage unnecessarily. This card's a bit of a problem for this deck. Alright, let's go. You're dead on board. Axe will give +1/1, so that's 5, that's 10 damage, 11, so 12 damage. They can soak up 3. Alright, they're dead. They are dead. Okay, so this version, do you want torches? Rest in Peace is interesting, but I don't think I do want the Pyro. I think Sheltered by Ghosts comes out. Soul Partition's interesting. So like this gets really big, but they can tap it down. I think realistically we're going to win through Forges. So having an answer to Shelly can be good. The Soul Partition could be good. It's a choice of like this: do we play Soul Partition, give them a chance to get it again, or the Destroy Evil? Like this deals with it the first time. Maybe just a split. Everything okay on the stream side, folks? Forge is a good one. I think I'm doing this. I'm gonna bin the mountain. Very mastermind. They go Kaido here, I could sneak down Forge. Which will let me put down some pressure. Might have been right just to make the treasure token there, but at the time we didn't know. So Kaido's likely going to bring back Spyglass.
I've always got it. Slim chances just make victory that much sweeter. I've got you beat 6 different ways.
So decision here. I could kill it, but I think we have to establish Forge as our way to win this game. I can soak up damage for a turn. They can go something like Fey Bloom, which is bad.
Just have to survive.
I could torch the token after. I just have to be mindful of my life total. We're already at 14.
I just hate a fair fight.
I could just get the Sanctuary going. So, you know we're hitting a land there.
Next time, I'll win.
I think I have to do this. Ah, I forgot about that. That was dumb. That was dumb. So I'm keeping this back just because they have a ninja emblem and this is going to attack in as a 4/4. They could also flash in like another Drowner or another Mastermind. Since they're on the Drowners and everything, I might want Barrage as well. Them doing that is fine because it lets me double spell here. 6, 8. No! Order! Ah. We lost now. I needed to gain the 3 life. They should have a removal spell here for us. Might want to trim an axe. Pyroclasm might actually be okay. It hits a couple of my things, but if we're winning through Forge, it's probably okay. Get rid of Destroy Evil. Play Split Up. I don't think we want Sheltered. Maybe just another bunny. Problem is, like, they answer bunny so easily. This Demir deck's so annoying to play against. Way too many good cards. That basically just being able to play like a flash-oriented game, and then we have to answer Kaido. If you get Leyline going early, could be reasonable. Obviously a Forge coming down early, also very strong. I think the problem is, like, we could have taken the line where we knew we would get the treasure, but we didn't know we were going to draw Torch that turn. At this point, they probably have cut downs, they have... I think this is fine, because we could do this into this. Obviously no 1/2 drops, maybe too slow, but we can kind of play a little bit more of a long game. So I went with this one because it doesn't die to cut down, doesn't get hit by Go for the Throat. All right. Boom. Boros doing its thing. What are your thoughts? One fewer, play the Forge, a third Forge main. Could cut these, play 2 FOMOs. Because we are able to get like artifact and stuff. Would be reasonable. That allows us to play another Pyroclasm, which could be fine. This does provide multiple triggers though for like Warden, which I do like. I think it's just, do we want another Forge main? If we do, what do we cut? Maybe just do like this. Forge main. 3/3 split. And then sideboard. Jinx fine. Split up. Do Rest in Peace. Could do... What's a sticky, like... I wish there was better planeswalkers. Like, they get Kaido and we get nothing. We just play some, like, Lightning Helix. I might just play another Pyroclasm. It's like post-board against Dimir. I do like those options. We could play Case. For like the grindier matchups. Case does get blown out. Like the red case is what I'm thinking. Just trying to think what we can bring in. There's like Get Lost. I do like the torches. We're not an ossification deck. So this can put pressure on them. Do we try an Ajani? Be reasonable. They don't answer it. It could double strike something for lethal, which works with Bunnicorn. Let's try an Ajani. We're 2-0 with this one. The Convoke deck, not so hot, but... There's also like that Seer Slicer. I'm out of coffee. That looks good. Invoke. So realistically... Because we gain the life off this too, and then I could with Steel Seraph just give it flying. Which works out pretty nice. They missed for the turn. Gonna take the chance to just get aggressive here. Because getting Forge puts some redundancy on them. I could Leyline Axe, but I think we just get this going. Just making sure we don't get hit by the triggers. Get this flying. Could give it double strike next turn. Can take the block there. This is going to get to 4 next turn. Then we have Axe, equipped Axe, go to town. That gives me enough to give the double strike with it, give it flying. And then I could, on the trigger, pump it again. The red source is going to deal damage to them. I guess here they could have sheltered. Okay, well, that is pretty good. We're done here? Let me know if we're done here. We're done here. Okay, so Pyroclasm, split up. Thought I added the second Pyro. Looks like I didn't. Torch. Lauren could actually be kind of interesting. Hitting their shelters has some utility. So we're probably trimming a couple axes. Sheltered's good. Forge can be reasonable. The Bunnicorn, it's probably just Charming Scoundrels. Playing Barrage is just another cheap effect here. Can play around the ward. Because this is just going to get swept. Don't care too much about these. I could just get rid of the axes altogether. Opt to play Soul Partition. Like 1-for-1 removal is not great, but like I don't think I want to draw Axe in this matchup. While it gives Trample, which could be reasonable. Maybe a couple. That's interesting. Like, how much targeted removal do you bring? I do think second Pyro could be good. Like, we went through Forge. Forge might be a little too slow on the draw, so maybe we bring in more removal. Is like another consideration. Opponent goes first. Delete on Warden. Get it out of Pyro range. Could be good. Just need to draw a red source. This is an interesting line. Hopefully they don't get like the second effect, so I can Pyro them, get some value without Warden coming down. Yeah, because now. Oh, they got the... fast start here, so we're probably gonna have to end up pyroing here. Can't really afford for them to Imadanes. Interesting. Their hand might just be a bunch of like 5-drops or some lands. They can't convoke it out just yet. We can shelter, they're sheltered. We do have enough to get rid of it. So sheltered's good, barrage is good. How about a land? Probably just take another 4 here. Drawing Axe isn't necessarily where we want to be on. Yeah, so I don't think we play the Axes. Sheltered. I mean, Barrage still works for us. Just because they can give it flying next turn. Too far behind. I think Lauren and the other barrage. Just being able to answer whatever's under it is really important. We have Pyro that can go wide, but we just stumbled a bit there. We had a couple turns where we could have drawn something. You kidding me? Can you just give me like a normal hand for once? So we're a little exposed here. Obviously not the greatest hand, but mulliganing twice feels really bad. This maybe was wrong because they could case here. This feels to me like they have torched the tower. So I want to play around that. Yeah. Called it. Just pass the turn here. Do have to be a bit cautious. I think we do this just because if they have sheltered, I need to play around it. Okay, well, I don't get a chance to play around it anymore. They have it, they have it. What are the chances? They could have Case would do it. But if they had Case, they'd play it. They could have Resolute Reinforcements, which is like a 2 for 2. Probably doesn't make sense. You could also just draw. It's a bit of a tricky one there. You play yourself into a couple. So I can sheltered another thing. Sheltered gives me another permanent, but not enough. I can give this flying. Imidane's here is a whole hell of a lot of damage. Can't give it vigilance. Give it flying, that goes to 18. They could play like another 1-drop. 18, that's a block there, block like a 1-mana one. So that's 5, 8, 11, 12, 13, 16, 19, which is more than what I'd have. I think we just gotta do this. Because I could steal Seraph next turn if they have. No! Fuck! Wait, they can't pay. What's my best draw here? Another sheltered. Okay. Another sheltered. I take out their token. I could take out this. They get the block this turn. This takes off 5 damage, where this is just 4. It's probably better. Because they could Imidanes, or they could do this. If I take this out, they can have the flyer, but they're probably not playing around the flying. So this represents more damage. I'm super all in on this rabbit. It whiffed on the first one, hit on the second. But they could take a chance, put a counter on it. Booyah! Alright, I like this deck. Feels a lot better. Feels a lot better. The axes are still to be determined. Like, they're fine, they're free fodder. So, like, this has been really good. The axes are okay. They do make these, like, shittier creatures better. Sideboard we could probably make a little bit better. The Ajani's are fine, but not the best. I don't want more 3-drops. If anything, I would probably just play more 2-drops. So the other call is, do we get rid of Lightning or Leyline Axe and just play like Lightning Helix, things like that. There's Enduring Innocence we can go to full 4 of. So I'm not in a line. I'm going to the Toronto-based one, which is in January. But kind of an idea. So I was trying out Jeskai. We're testing out this one here just to see how this plays out. Kind of like the idea of this a little bit more. There was the for Maraudin. For Maraudin, equipped abilities was double strike, doesn't give him the trample. This is another idea with like lifelink could be reasonable. We could try out some FOMOs. I don't mind this like idea, like from what we've been playing thus far. But folks, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We'll be back with metagame breakdowns tomorrow, and we'll continue. We'll try to get back into the regular schedule. Obviously there's New Year's, but appreciate everyone stopping by. Stay safe out there.